Cory Booker is saying something a lot of Democrats don't want to hear. The party needs new leadership, new energy, and a message that actually connects with voters. And honestly, he's not wrong. But there's also a problem here. Booker is making that argument while many people still see him as part of the same political class that they're frustrated with. So the real question is not whether Booker's diagnosis is right, it's whether the Democrats can convince voters that anyone inside the current system is capable of fixing it. Now, Booker's core message is simple. Democrats can't keep defining themselves only by what they oppose. That's the line that matters. Because "we're not Trump" is not a governing vision. It's not a reason to trust you, and it's definitely not a reason to show up and vote. Booker has been saying that the Democrats need to tell people who they're for, what they're fighting for, and how they're going to make life better. That's a message built around people's pain, rent, healthcare, wages, debt, cost of living, and a sense that the system is rigged against them. And on that point, he's right. Voters are exhausted by vague moral outrage with no concrete plan attached. But here's where Booker's argument gets tricky. He's calling for a generational renewal, fresh leadership, and a new direction, but he's still very much a part of the same political ecosystem he's criticizing. Now that matters because voters don't just judge the message, they judge the messenger. A lot of people hear new leadership from someone who's been in national politics for years and thinks, new compared to what? Now that doesn't make Booker's criticism invalid. It just means that the credibility gap is real. If Democrats want to sell renewal, they need more than just better talking points. They need people who genuinely feel new to voters. And this is where Booker's message gets complicated. He recently called Lindsey Graham a Senate hero, and a lot of people are furious about it. Not because they are against civility, and not because they think that every politician should hate every other politician, but because for a lot of voters, Graham is not just some harmless symbol of bipartisanship. He was a long-time power player with a record that plenty of people saw as deeply problematic. So when Booker praises him that way, it doesn't land like noble statesmanship to everyone. For some people, it sounds exactly like the kind of insider politics they're tired of. Politicians protecting each other's reputations while regular, ordinary people are expected to just move on. And even with that irony, Booker's core point still lands because it matches what a lot of voters feel. People are not looking for another round of political theater. They want to know what a party is going to do about their actual lives. And that means talking about more than Trump. And I think that's the tension here, is that Booker may be right that the Democrats need a new message, but it's moments like these that make it harder for him to sell himself as part of the break from the old political culture. If you're a Democrat, you can't just say, we're against authoritarianism anymore. No, you gotta say, here's how we lower prices. Here's how we fix healthcare. Here's how we make work pay. That's why Booker's broader argument works better than his personal brand does. The message is stronger than the messenger. A stronger Democratic message would sound like this. We're for families who are getting crushed by prices. We're for workers who are falling behind. We're for a political system that doesn't let insiders cash in. We're for a future that ordinary people can actually afford. That's emotional, that's concrete, and that's the kind of thing that voters can remember. It's also why Booker's complaints about party leadership matter. He's not just saying that the Democrats need nicer, better branding. He's saying that they need a total reset in how they talk to people. And if the party keeps leaning on just the anti-Trump messaging alone, it's going to keep running into the same wall. Attention without trust. Booker's right that the Democrats need a new leadership and a real vision. But the irony is impossible to ignore. When the person calling for change still looks like part of the old guard, the message gets harder to sell. That's the story. Not just that the Democrats need a new message, but that they may also need a new messenger too. If the party wants voters to believe in renewal, then it has to prove it before election season does.